Media advocacy is the strategic use of mass media to advance a social or public policy initiative. Its goal is not to tell you to quit smoking. Its goal is to pass a clean indoor air law. It targets the policymaker, but it reaches them through the voter. The core technique is framing. How you define the problem determines the solution. If the problem is smokers have no willpower, the solution is education. If the problem is corporations are lying to children, the solution is regulation. Media advocacy battles for the dominant frame. Before the 1990s, Big Tobacco was invincible. They won every lawsuit. They owned Congress. Their dominant frame was freedom of choice. They argued that smoking was a legal adult pleasure, and any regulation was the nanny state interfering with liberty. They also used the economic impact frame, claiming that tobacco farmers and restaurant owners would go bankrupt if smoking was restricted. Public health was losing because we were fighting on their turf, arguing about health statistics while they argued about freedom. The first crack in the armor was the 1986 Surgeon General's report on environmental tobacco smoke, secondhand smoke. This allowed advocates to shift the frame. Suddenly, the issue wasn't the government protecting you from yourself, paternalism. It was the government protecting the innocent waitress from your smoke, the harm principle. Remember John Stuart Mill? You can do what you want until it hurts someone else. Secondhand smoke proved it hurt someone else. This led to the first wave of clean indoor air laws. It made the smoker the aggressor, not the victim. The death blow was the Master Settlement Agreement, MSA, in 1998. State attorneys general sued the tobacco companies to recover Medicaid costs for treating smoking-related illnesses. During discovery, millions of internal documents were released. They were explosive. They proved the companies knew nicotine was addictive, knew it caused cancer, and actively targeted children to replace dying customers. The frame shifted overnight from liberty to deceit. The industry wasn't defending freedom, they were lying to kill Americans for profit. The public turned. The MSA created the American Legacy Foundation, now the Truth Initiative, funded by tobacco money. They launched the Truth Campaign. This was brilliant media advocacy. They knew teenagers hate being told what to do, don't smoke. But teenagers also hate being lied to by adults. So, the Truth Campaign didn't preach health. It exposed the manipulation. They showed executives testifying that nicotine wasn't addictive. They showed the body bag commercials, dumping 1,200 body bags at Philip Morris HQ. They made not smoking an act of rebellion against corporate control. It was wildly successful. The body bag stunt is a classic example of earned media. You don't have to pay for an ad if the news covers your protest. By doing something visually striking and controversial, the Truth Campaign got millions of dollars in free airtime on the evening news. Controversy generates coverage. If you play it safe, no one watches. Effective advocacy requires a bit of theater. We can apply these lessons to modern fights. Look at obesity. The industry frame is personal responsibility. Exercise more. The advocacy frame is toxic environment. Big Soda is targeting kids just like Big Tobacco did. Look at opioids. The frame shifted from criminal junkies to victims of pharma greed, the Sackler family. Once the frame shifted to corporate malfeasance, policy started to move. Gun violence is currently stuck in a framing war between Second Amendment rights and public safety. To win, advocates have to find a way to break the freedom frame. Today, the battlefield is social media. This democratizes the message. Anyone can go viral. But it also allows for astroturfing, fake grassroots movements funded by corporate interests. We saw this with anti-soda tax campaigns that looked like concerned citizens but were funded by Coca-Cola. As analysts, you need to be able to spot astroturf. You also need to be able to use social media to bypass traditional gatekeepers and speak directly to the base. To conclude, Lesson 3, whoever defines the problem defines the solution. If the problem is bad people, the solution is jail. If the problem is a broken system, the solution is policy. Your job is to frame the problem in a way that makes policy the only logical answer. In the next lesson, we will look at the biggest framing battle of all, national health reform. We will compare the failure of Hillary Care in 1993 with the success of Obamacare in 2010 to see how political strategy evolved. Tip for your assignment: think about the frame of your brief. If you are writing to a Republican, frame your policy around efficiency and cost savings. If you are writing to a Democrat, frame it around equity and justice. Same policy, different frame. That is the art of advocacy. See you in Lesson 4.